Morning, 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 morning. Another successful Halloween as a parent living in the suburbs. You know, it is so hard for us. We limited our Halloweening to houses that were decorated or showed some kind of Halloween spirit. I feel like if you don't decorate your house, we're not going to bother you. A little something, a pumpkin, a little sign, a little witch in the lawn. So we stuck to those houses. Probably we trick or treated a little bit too early because a lot of people were not home, especially if they had decorated houses. You know, people work, they work a 9 to 5 and they got to travel up here. You know, and then getting here until about 6, 7 to get home and do the candy. So but a lot of the people were home. One house, they didn't have anybody home, but you could open the door, like the vestibule, and there was a bowl of candy. And my daughter and son went to go get the candy, and it was like a motion censored skeleton dog that barked at them, and they were crying. Oh, my husband said that was the best part of of the trick or treating because he's a sadist. But I want to talk about something. Do your kids know how to fight? So, do your kids know how to fight? Because I think they should. I think every adolescent child who is of color, I don't know what happens in white spaces because I don't live in that community. I know what happens in black urban spaces because I live there. You know what I'm saying? Both of my kids were signed up for kickboxing. My son just could not do it. He would whine and cry and always claim he was tired. But my daughter, on the other hand, is continuing with it. She's very good at it. All her shins are bruised up. They tell her to kick that bag, she kicks that bag. She punches, she kicks, she ducks, she protects her face. Anyway, so I guess, if my son gets into an altercation where he needs to fight, I think he could just tag his sister in. I find that appropriate too, because he is the weaker twin. He had the placenta issues. He has the muscle weakness and stuff like that, right? Tag your sister and whoop that ass. I teach my children to never throw the first punch. People could say whatever they want to say to you. They can curse, scream, call you names. None of that. None of that. Not even the N word. And I know it's hard because I don't live that way. You a white person, you say the N word to me, we're rumbling. However, we're talking about children. Talking about children, we're not talking about adults. They get different rules. You tell a teacher, you be the big snitch, let them call him a snitch. You tell a teacher, you yell back at them. You're not allowed. I told my daughter and my son, if somebody says something to you, you're not allowed to speak to me like that. You don't have my permission or my consent to speak to me like that. And I use that a lot. When them clear parents get on the phone and start talking to me like I ain't nothing, and I I said, well, let me clearly define what's going on right here. I have given you the information that I have given you. You don't like set information. You are upset with the answer you have received. But let's be clear. You do not have my consent to speak to me in that manner. And this is how I talk to them. You do not have my consent. You are not allowed to speak to me that way. Yeah, I'm a taxpayer. I'm a taxpayer. That does not give you license or authority to speak to me that way. Consequently, this educational institution accepts federal money and state money. I am also a taxpayer, and my dollars go into this educational institution. Therefore, your money, which is green, my money, which is green, are on equal plane. Now, at this point, they're not used to a big, fat black woman speaking to them that way. They are, right, tripping on themselves. Well, you're a government employee. I said, absolutely. I am a civil service, but I am not a servant. Let's be clear. And then when they go on and on, I hit them with this. If you are dealing with clear people, hit them with this. It will end immediately. This is my finish him move. Now, this is how I present it. Now, I'm going to assume that this is how you speak to everyone. And I am not going to equate the manner in which you are speaking with me based on my race and or gender. You're not talking to me this way because I am black, are you? No. You're not speaking to me this way because I'm a woman, are you? No. You're not speaking to me this way because I am a black woman, are you? No, you speak to everyone this way, right? Oh, it's done. It's done because they don't. It's done. Well, I'm just unhappy. Yeah. If they are able to weaponize white tears, we are then able to weaponize white guilt. And don't nobody race bait or weaponize white guilt better than me. That's the finisher move. And you know, when I have these situations, my boss don't come out her room. The superintendent don't come out of his room until it's over. And then they just walk by my desk and smile. And they give me the, you okay? And I get, light work. Just another Tuesday. Just another Tuesday. You always turn the mirror back on themselves, because where I work is a very close-knit suburban educational institution. They all know each other. They all go to the same country clubs. They all do dot, 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 dot. And what happens is they fall victim to community thought, community thinking, assimilation, and yada, yada, yada. Quiet as it's kept, we don't have one black teacher. Not one. Not one. Not one. So they're all white, or they're Hispanic white. They're Hispanic of white race, because you could be Hispanic and white, or Hispanic and black. Okay, gotta give y'all the lesson. They are white Hispanics. And they're from Spain. Their lineage is Spain. So they're not even Hispanic, because Hispanic means a history of Spanish. I take that back. They are Spanish. I could tell, because when they are speaking in Spanish, it has that Middle Eastern undertone that people from Spain sound like. They are Spanish by all clear definition. They're not Hispanic. They're not Puerto Rican. They're not Dominican. They're not from any of the colonies. They are from the mainland. They are Spanish. So they are white. So anyway, reverse that. And then if you are dealing with a black person, the scenario that I just said could definitely be used. If you're talking with a male, you're not speaking to me this way because I'm a woman, right? Throw that in there. If you are talking with somebody who is a black woman and there's an age disparity, you're not talking to me because I'm an older person, are you? You're not talking to me this way because I'm a younger person. Find the difference between who you are speaking with and use that. You're not speaking to me because I'm a larger person, right? This is not body shaming, right? You're not equating my size with my worth, right? Oh, do it. Find a difference and fucking use it. and hit them with, we are in the age of consent. Okay? This generation is the age of consent. You This is the line. You don't have my consent to speak to me in that manner. What I will do is give you an opportunity to adjust your tone, all while talking to them in the same tone they're talking to you. 10 out of 10, it works every single time. 10 out of 10. When I came off of maternity leave, my boss tried to come at me that way. By the end of the conversation, this bitch had given me a TJ Maxx gift card and put chocolates all over my fucking keyboard. Because I hit you with the, one, you're not going to speak to me that way. Two, all my mama did was yell. You ain't finna out yell me. You ain't finna out talk me. And you ain't finna out big word me. Because what a bitch who got a math issue does is have an extensive corkanoid vocabulary. Okay? I'm so bougie, my sevens have a cross in it. Okay? Educated with the Queen's English, honey. Nothing like a bougie Caribbean bitch that uses the Queen's English and the Queen's spelling of certain words. You ever talk to a bougie Jamaican bitch? Let me tell you something. Bougie, highly educated Jamaican bitches are my favorite. You got that Caribbean accent, then you got the bougie Jamaican accent, and then, because let's not forget, she's still a yard bitch. She sound like Spice when she's mad. Oh, my favorite. My favorite. If I was a man, my wife would be a bougie, highly educated Jamaican whore. That would be, and I want a whore. I would never marry a stiff. I want a nasty, dirty, oversexed, educated Jamaican woman. That would be my wife. That would be the mother to my kids. Okay? If I was a man, or if I was a lesbian. Not a soft lesbian, a hard lesbian. That would be my wife. That's who I would go for. Oh, that would be who I would go for. So back to if your kids should learn how to fight. Yes. And I'm going to say, because you don't know what your kid is going through unless they are 100% telling you about their day. And they're not. My mother has no idea the magnitude of bullying that I went through in my school, primary school and middle school years. One is shame. You're shameful. I don't know why you feel shame, but victims oftentimes feel shamed, embarrassed, helpless. And then I have a single mother who's working, bags under her eyes, exhausted, who, if I did report it, would have to take time off of work to have a meeting. Y'all realize that? Why didn't you just tell? Why didn't you just tell? Because my mother was a single parent who needed all the income she needed. My mother would have to take a day off of work, multiple days off of work, to come and do these meetings. So oftentimes, the bullying goes unchecked because children are aware. Children are aware. We as parents need to give our children more credit on what we think and don't, what they know what's going on. A kid knows when two parents aren't meshing in a marriage and they're pretty much staying together for the kids. Kids know when you're sad. Like, I was sitting there watching TV and my daughter, who's 4, she's about to be 5. She's 4. Mommy, are you sad? And I said, yes, Elise, I'm a little sad. She knew I was sad. I don't know. Oh, I was sad because I was giving her a bath and she looks extremely skinny. And I didn't want to keep, you got to eat, you got to eat. Nobody wants to live like that, you know? And you read all these blogs, you talk to pediatrician, and it's kind of normal. I talked to my mother. My mother said I look the same way. But it's hurtful when you have when you're in that situation, you're around other kids who eat or overeat. You're dealing with that situation. Yes, I know all children are not the same. But when you're seeing ribs and skeletal figures and all of that, it's hard to look at because you're not poor. You're not poor. You have an overabundance of resources and money and access to food. And I unpack her lunchbox and the food is there and I'm tossing it. Right? But your daughter's skinny. But everybody telling her she's okay. I'm a first time mom. 40 first time mom. I've never had to raise a toddler or deal with a toddler. So anyway, I was just sitting there in my own emotions and my daughter noticed it. Then the other day, I'm sitting there helping them with their homework or fixing their homework. And my son goes, Mom, you tired? Yes, I'm tired. They know. So they know. My kids already know at 4 that if any situation happens in school, mommy or daddy have to take a day off. They already understand what that means. So your child is probably not telling you everything that's happening in the school. They're not. They're not, because there's a whole bunch of loaded psychological shit that happens when a child is bullied or not having a good day in school or whatever. I think they need to learn how to fight. At least if you're a pacifist, I get it. You don't want to teach them how to strike. Teach them how to defend themselves. Teach them not to be taken advantage of. Enough for a situation where an adult could get involved. Because let me tell you something. I worked in a school where there was a fight every other period. And these kids are calculated as fuck when they're planning a fight. They had, for one example, they knew that the hallway monitor drank coffee in the morning and used between periods 2 and 3 to go to the bathroom every day. And then he went, the men's room in these old school, not old school, like these older buildings, they don't have the bathrooms next to each other. So he might have been stationed on one end with the girls' room and have to walk to the end of the hall. So while he's walking to the end of the hall and the other staff who's on the other end is walking the other way, right, to cover him, they've already planned the fight. That's a good 10, 20 seconds before the staff could run. And then you're saying, well, why don't they just switch? You know why they don't just switch? Because adults are we're dealing with so many different things. We don't realize what's a potential problem until it becomes a potential problem. We don't know what we don't know. Or they had him stationed there for a reason because there was an aggressive student and he's a male and then the other one is a woman. There's so many reasons why. It's not just an easy fix to have them change stations, right? So these kids had planned a fight in the 20 seconds that it takes for the two staff to swap while he go pee in between the schedule, the changing of the classrooms. These are how calculated these kids are. They're very observant. They're very smart. And I have to say that the wealth of intellect in a special ed school that deals with children with behavioral and violence, unmatched. They are fucking smart. They're not dumb. To have street smarts and navigate. Now, we're talking about drug dealers, kingpins. These are children. Gang leaders. You know how much organization and leadership skills it takes to be the head of your set? And you're 13? And you do recruiting? And you balancing the books? And you buying the product? And you're divvying it up? And you're making sure you have enough profit to keep the people happy that work for you? And also, and bargaining? I'm gonna give you 20. I'm gonna give you 15K. I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna give you extra 10 because it costs 20. I only got 15. Give it to me. Let me flip it. I'm gonna give you an extra 10. These kids are 13 doing this. You know the level of intellect that takes? These kids were smart. Super smart. A little too smart. Scary smart. But you could go either way. I always say a child with high intellect can go either way. Can do good or do bad. Because let's be clear, if you follow any kind of comic or anything on it, the evildoer was a genius. You watch Batman, Mr. Enigma, scientist, Lex Luthor, not Spider-Man, Superman, corporate billionaire. They're smart. Megamind, genius. Dominions, genius. It could go either way. So I think you should at least teach your kids about self-defense because you really don't know what they're going through in school. You don't know. You can't know. Even if you volunteer in the school, you don't know. Okay, I got an email from a teacher that my son makes faces. I asked them to look into it because she's seeing the faces. Come to find out, they were taunting my son, quietly whispering, taunting him. So he would make faces because when he was confusing too, nigga, please. My son will give you a nigga, please. I'm not engaging with you. I'm not engaging with you. You're a nobody. So she caught the faces, but you know, she's one teacher in a classroom of 20 something kids. She didn't catch the insults. So, and I'm gonna do another video on how to fight dirty because yes, I think you should at least teach your kids self-defense, but I'm teaching them how to fight back.